think about the fight?
I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. But let me talk something. Let me let y'all know. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. I beat him. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Y'all know I beat that boy. Everybody out there know I beat him. 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 I beat him.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Boxing Facts Over Fiction. I need you to do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon for more videos like this. Today I'm going to expose the guy they call the truth and his many contradictions in the sport of boxing. The truth is who they call Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. has a chance to fight Terrence Crawford for a super bout. You know, this is a super fight. Guys, this is our modern day Hagler Hearns, Leonard Hagler, whatever you want to call it. You know, I've seen those fights, but this is our super fight right here. Other than Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, this is our super fight here. Whether you guys believe it or not, this is the fight for us to see. This is a 50-50 fight, but as of right now, I think I lean towards Terrence Crawford. As of right now, I lean towards Terrence Crawford. The reason why I lean towards Terrence Bud Crawford is because of the experience, because of the level of competition he has fought. Maybe those guys wasn't big names, but those guys were champions. Those guys had the belt. Those guys were the best in his division. He fought the #1 guy in his division, #2, whatever, but he won all the belts, so he fought the best in his division. Now, this is a small guy moving from 135 all the way to 147. He didn't do it overnight like Mike Garcia is trying to do, move from 135 all the way to 147. Crawford gradually moved up the right way. He moved up from 135, 140 to 147. Errol Spence Jr. been at 147 his whole life. This should be an easy fight for Errol Spence Jr., but will it? Absolutely not, because Errol Spence hasn't shown us anything than being one-dimensional. Crawford is a guy that is able to move up in weight because he can do a lot of things. He's a switch hitter. He can do a lot of things. He adapts to every situation. He adapts to every fighter, you know. And because of that adaptation, it's easier for him to move up in weight, you know. That's why Errol Spence can't move up in weight. That's why Errol Spence is at 147 instead of moving up in weight and getting more titles. But Errol Spence, today, like I said, I'm going to expose the many contradictions from Errol Spence Jr. Before Terrence Crawford even talked about moving up in weight. Max Kellerman asked Terrence Crawford a few times, you know, you've done everything here at 140, but there's only one guy we look at that we see it could be, and that's Errol Spence Jr. He said, when I look north, I see Errol Spence Jr. When I look south, I see Vasyl Lomachenko, or something like that, something around those lines. But Errol Spence Jr. is the fight that I see you need to, that I see if you fight this guy, this would be your legacy defining fight. Terrence Crawford said, yeah. I mean, he dismissed Errol Spence a little bit based on the fact that he sees Errol Spence doesn't have all the tools that he has. So he mentioned Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman recently didn't look good, so I don't see Keith Thurman. A lot of people don't see Keith Thurman as a top guy no more because of that one fight after a 2-year layoff. He didn't look that good. But Terrence Crawford said, yeah, that's a fight I want. And when Terrence Crawford moved up in weight, his first fight at welterweight was for a title. Terrence Crawford won a title. His first fight at welterweight, he beat Jeff Horn. Errol Spence never won a title his first fight at welterweight. This is a small guy, Terrence Crawford, moving up in weight and won a title against a guy that beat Manny Pacquiao, which was Jeff Horn. Whether it was controversial or not, he still beat Manny Pacquiao. So Terrence Crawford beat the guy that beat the guy, who was Manny Pacquiao. And he beat Jeff Horn. You know, Errol Spence said, if Terrence Crawford moved, Errol Spence was asked numerous of times on ESPN live television, will you fight Terrence Bud Crawford? He said, of course. If he gets a belt, I'll fight Terrence Bud Crawford. Crawford move up in weight, get a belt. I don't hear anything from Errol Spence saying, I want to fight Terrence Crawford. What I hear Errol Spence saying is, axe out. Axe out. Now that's a contradiction right there, guys. Axe or call Al Heyman. Why should he call Al Heyman or get in contact with Al Heyman when Errol Spence has says numerous of times he's his own promoter? Man Down Promotions. Errol Spence doesn't want that Terrence Crawford fight. Errol Spence is his own promoter. There is no need for Errol Spence to be saying, call Al Heyman. You Errol Spence fanboys, you Errol Spence fangirls who are saying, yeah, all Terrence Crawford has to do is call Al Heyman. Nope. He has to call Errol Spence. And he called out Errol Spence. He seen Errol Spence in person and said, when we gonna do this? Errol Spence says, let me clean up my side of the street. All of a sudden, Errol Spence has excuses on top of excuses. Errol Spence says he needs to clean up his side of the street. But instead of cleaning up his side of the street, he goes miles away from his side of the street to fight a guy named Mikey Garcia. This is the same Errol Spence said that if Terrence Crawford get a belt, he wants Terrence Crawford. This is the same Errol Spence said he's his own promoter. Guys, this is the same Errol Spence. This is the same Errol Spence who says if Terrence Crawford get a belt, he wants to fight Terrence Crawford immediately. This is the same Errol Spence that said he's his own promoter. Why then now is Errol Spence saying call Al Heyman? Why? Why is Errol Spence saying he can't fight on ESPN when he's fought on ESPN before? Why is Errol Spence saying he wants to fight on Showtime alone? Where's all these excuses coming from? This is the same Errol Spence, guys, that went to England to fight a guy in hostile territory in Kell Brook. He went to fight Kell Brook in the UK for a title. Errol Spence was that confident to go overseas, but he can't go to Omaha on ESPN or wherever the fight will take place, or Vegas. Errol Spence is reneging on his words to fight Terrence Crawford when he gets a belt, but he was willing to go overseas to fight Kell Brook for his belt. Guys, we have to see Errol Spence for the type of guy he is. Errol Spence picks and chooses who he wants to fight, man. He comes out here and says he wants all the smoke, but he's ducking smoke right now. He needs more experience. Errol Spence needs more experience. Errol Spence do not want all the smoke. This is the same Errol Spence who's a lot of people are actually coming out and saying Errol Spence is being protected from Terrence Bud Crawford. We remember Floyd Mayweather was one of those guys that came out and said that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight isn't happening anytime soon. Floyd Mayweather knows there's a high possibility Errol Spence can lose, and that's the end of Errol Spence's career. I'm not going to say it's the end of Errol Spence's career, but it's a high possibility. We don't know what goes on in the fighter head once he take his first loss. You know, we seen Gamboa, he never bounced back from that. I mean, he won a few fights, but he lost again. After a fighter takes his first loss, a fighter who hasn't lost since forever, it's hard for him to bounce back. But we don't know what's going to happen with Errol Spence if he loses to Terrence Crawford, which I believe he will if he takes that. So Floyd Mayweather and all those guys at the PBC are going to do whatever it takes to protect Errol Spence Jr. So Errol Spence Jr. is taking the easy way out. Instead of cleaning up his side of the street, he's going to fight a guy moving up 2 weight classes. And he's going to hurt this guy, Mikey Garcia. He's going to beat the shit out of Mikey Garcia, guys. Let's be real. Errol Spence is going to beat Mikey Garcia like he's his stepson. You guys are hopping on the Errol Spence bandwagon. I'm not saying Errol Spence isn't as good as he is. Of course Errol Spence should be good. He's in a weight class that he's never moved up from. He's been fighting at 147 his entire career. He should be his best at 147. Terrence Crawford moving up to his third weight division should not be at his best. He should not be at his best. So I understand why you guys, you casual fanboys, you Errol Spence fangirls believe that Errol Spence beat Terrence Crawford. Because you like, man, this is a little guy moving up in weight to challenge the monster, the boogeyman, Errol Spence Jr., EJ. Nah, buddy. Errol Spence has only showed us one thing, and that's one-dimensional. Pressure, pressure, pressure. He bullies you. Errol Spence is the bully in this situation. Just like Jeff Horn was the bully in this situation. And Terrence Crawford bullied the bully. Terrence Crawford is stronger than you guys think he is. You seen the way he threw Jeff Horn around that ring. We seen the way Jeff Horn threw Manny Pacquiao around that ring. Terrence Crawford is a strong boy. Stop playing with him. There you have it, guys. I gave you all the excuses Errol Spence has. One of the excuses was he doesn't want to fight on ESPN, but he's fought on ESPN before. He doesn't want to, he wants to clean up his side of the street. He wants to fight champions. I mean, he wants a few more belts. Terrence Crawford has a belt. The excuses just keep coming. He wants Terrence Crawford to call Al Heyman when he's his own promoter. I mean, I'm shocked to hear Errol. When you hear guys just continue to come up with the excuses, you know the guy needs more experience. He needs more fights to get ready for the fight of his life. He has a lot of respect for Terrence Crawford. If he believed he can stop Terrence Crawford, this fight would have been to happen. He would have reached out to Terrence Crawford himself because he's his own promoter. Or he would have talked to Al Heyman instead of saying Crawford and Bob Arum needs to call Al Heyman. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that